Good morning, Thomas. How are you this morning?
Jonathan, I'm doing fantastic. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Thanks for asking.
Great. Listen, I want to talk about toxic employees.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Now, what has been your experiences, say, within the last 12 months of toxic employees within the workplace, either from your personal company or even from your, what do you call it, your clients?
All right, so I have been lucky that I haven't seen many toxic people come into our company.
Okay.
Obviously, you don't really know sometimes until it's too late where they're already in your company and you're seeing it little by little, how they work, how they do things, how they, interact with other employees, which is the biggest issue.
Hmm.
But I have seen it a lot more in a lot of our clients. And what are they doing? They're resisting and they're actually hurting their current client, their current company that they're working for, where
Hmm.
they're not letting them get to the next level that they're trying to get to. A lot of clients are, let's say they're installing a new CRM, right?
Hmm.
They might be the people that go around and say like, this is so stupid, what are we doing, this, why are we even doing this, we're wasting our time, no one's going to use it. Very little stuff that you don't think much of right away, but they're like that roadblock that stops everything. And um a lot of things like that where they just are any little thing. Like we've seen a lot of video type people where they were the video person for the company and they'll just sit on their butt, they won't do anything, they won't get what's needed, they're not motivated, and they will just kind of go around each person one by one and just kind of stir up problems for no reason.
Okay.
um I've seen it, many years ago working in companies where you just knew that this person was going to cause problems. They literally would make huge, disastrous problem out of nothing, and they would just be like starting wars with different sides, ownership, management, other employees just starting nonsense for no reason.
Hmm.
It's very hard to avoid. You have to really try and find those the signs of them when they're being interviewed and in the first probationary period to try and stop them from coming into your company. But you can definitely see them from a mile away when once they're there.
Yeah.
What
You
about
know,
you?
there's a few different types of, toxic you come across. There's going to be the employees within, all right, and then they'll bitch and moan amongst themselves, which can be a cancer. And cancers, spread if you do not, get rid of that cancer. All right. The most dangerous type of toxic employee is the ones that's bitching to the clients. It's kind of like you don't want anybody to know your family business. All right. You keep things amongst the family, you talk about it, you discuss it, you try to, like, solve the situation. When you start going outside the family and telling people, hey, this is what's going on in the glass house, that's not a good thing, because especially these clients, though, that's your oxygen for your business, that's your revenue. And you know what? Those clients will then start talking to other clients, maybe potential clients, and word of mouth, just like in advertising, is great. But when that happens, it becomes beyond toxic, and it can destroy your business from within because of that one or few employees that are very toxic. Maybe they're unhappy with the company themselves. And if you're that unhappy, then leave, go somewhere else. If you've been a long-term employee with the company for 5 years or more, you've been productive, try to be logical and reasonable and sit down with management and say, hey, guys, you know what? We're going in the wrong direction, especially if you're in the sales and marketing end, okay? Because you guys are on the front line to see what's happening. If you're a customer service rep, then you're seeing stuff from the maintenance side, okay? But more so with the sales and marketing, you got a little bit of leverage. Don't be fearful, especially if you've been like an all-star player, you're one of their MVPs. But you got to be logical, especially with the economic times they are now. Companies are looking to, like, cut, cut, cut. That's what they're looking to do. Your thoughts on that?
What's interesting, what I've seen a lot of times is that toxic employee has multiple faces, right? So they will be, I've seen it with the owners where they'll be very, very close with the owners. They may have been an employee that's been there from the beginning or, for many, many years. And I guess they don't know how to talk to the owner. They just kind of do whatever the owner says, and they build up all this resentment and almost like hatred in a way. and then a lot of the times they'll come to us and they'll be telling us like things about what's going on in the company, not good things, right? So
Mhm.
there's like you're saying, they're spilling the beans for what the owners are doing, what the company's doing, and
Sure.
it goes back to ownership, that not having that communication with the employees. A lot of times managers or owners or high level executives will just tell subordinates whatever they want to tell them, and they don't look for feedback,
Mhm.
and you're instantly you might create that toxic employee just by how you treat them, how what you do with them. So it is important to make sure that you get feedback from your entire company that you're working with. If you're dealing with two or three managers and you're just directing what you want them to do and not
Mhm.
asking them their feedback, if they're the ones doing the actual work, that may come back to bite you back, and not in a good way. So there's a lot of pieces that you gotta really pay attention to.
Oh, 100%. I will tell you about this one situation I had, it's almost 30 years ago. I had a sales team, was in the telecom industry. I had 72 sales reps working for me. All right. And they were productive. Um, I was kind of like when I saw talent in somebody, and I know if they could be molded, I bring them along and hire them and mold them. Okay. That was my job to make them successful. Um, there was this one guy I brought aboard. I was a little bit reluctant, but you know what? Somebody out else was vouching for him. And the old adage, go with your gut instinct. I should have went with my gut instinct. All right. However, as I've learned over time, because I let my heart out there and I hired the person, it kicked me in the ass. And what ended up happening, this guy was such a good, phenomenal manipulator amongst the people. Okay. He could have been like a political organizer.
Mhm.
Anyway, long story short, we had a great, we're the number one office out of 23 office production wise around the country. He actually, was like bad mouthing me and my managers behind our backs and getting to the sales reps. This guy became a cancer within an 8 week period. It was amazing how quick it was. And it was a Friday, and the orders weren't as productive as they should have been over a 2 week work period. That's the way we work production wise. Long story short, my managers came into my office and go, listen, we're going to end up losing a lot of sales reps. They're unhappy, they're disgruntled. Okay. So basically, I thought about it over the weekend. Back in the day, Sundays classifieds would be filled with jobs. And, that Sunday morning, I walk out and grab the paper, I bring it in, and it just hits me. Open up the want ads, I grab a highlighter and a pen. I start circling about like a dozen jobs and I start highlighting them. Now, my Monday morning meetings, everybody had to attend. So the place is packed. And usually I kick off with like a little bit of stand-up routine and jokes and all that. Didn't even bother. So I made it like a real somber thing, like you're in a wake, we're looking at a coffin. I said, listen, a lot of you guys I heard are very unhappy. I don't want you to be unhappy. You're here to make money. If you guys are unhappy, if there's anybody here, I took the time yesterday and I found a dozen jobs out there. And I'm sure I can find some more. So these are 12 jobs that you guys do qualify for. So if any of you guys need help with your resume, I'll help you, write it up, structure it correctly, give you good, I'll give you, a good write up and make sure, people will be happy. If you need, what do you call a referral from me, I will do so. All right. I'm going to put it up here on the bulletin board. Listen, you guys know it's a production, you want to keep working, you know what you got to do. Here it is. You guys have a great day. Went in my office, closed my door. Never, ever did that before. Never had that meeting, ever go that short. My managers come in. They're like, holy shit, what are you doing? We're going to lose these people. It's like you got to try to keep them. Go, listen, you know what? Let's just roll with this. Let's see what happens. Long story short, that's after that 2 week work period from that meeting, we had the biggest production ever in all the time we were doing, and it didn't stop from that point. And that guy ended up being like pigeonholed out of the office. Everybody turned their back on him. I rolled the dice. I did the old tell a kid not to touch the stove so you don't get burned, but you touch it anyway. I use that type of psychology. And guess what? That was a big lesson for me early in my career because I was able to empower people and I learned how to do it. I didn't manipulate them, I empowered them. And from that point on, I've always been a leader moving forward. So that's how I got rid of that toxic person.
So, just be very careful with what you're doing in your company, whether you're hiring, managing, And don't be that toxic employee. If you're not happy with the company you're in, leave. Like you
Mhm.
said, look for a place that fits for you. Very easy
Exactly.
to just get, there's no reason to cause, be disruptive in a company. If you don't like them, leave. Find something that you have in your passion, and be the better person.
100%. Listen, hopefully this has been creative knowledge for you. We thank you for watching. Please hit that subscribe button. Definitely hit that thumbs up button. Hit that like button. We need that. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Take care.
Everyone.